Hello, hello, hello. Kevin here. How are you doing? I hope you're well. It is about 3 in the morning, and I am using a good old webcam rather than proper equipment because I just sort of felt like talking. I should be asleep right now, but unfortunately, I got a bit of a short nap last afternoon, and yeah, now I'm sort of wide awake and I felt like making a video. It's been a while. It's been a week and a half. I don't know how we want to quantify a while. 2 weeks? I don't know. And I'm a little behind on videos, though, of course, that sort of assumes that there is a schedule to be had with the stuff that I've been making. But I felt like turning on the camera and talking because I think one of the things that I've done on this channel is kind of go back and forth between making something random every so often and really trying to stick to a schedule. When I first started, I was very adamant that I was going to make 3 videos a week, and I did that for a year, and then that kind of stopped because, I got burnt out, and that's something that happens to people. And then every so often I go, okay, nope, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do something on a regular basis. I had this whole walking around series, I had a whole bunch of stuff. And even more recently, I had this Welcome to the Rest of Your Life series, where we had this evil corporation, which I was the head of. I want to mention briefly that the reason that stopped is not that it wasn't fun and not that people didn't seem to enjoy it, but when I started off, I was frustrated with various corporate-y things, and I felt like, hey, what a better way to vent some irritation about business in general than to make some parody stuff. What I discovered by the second week is that I've gone through my list of irritations, and instead of being the sort of cathartic thing, it became now okay, I've got to find something to get worked up about so that I can make fun of it, which ended up being more negative than I intended. But yeah, so I'm trying now to say that there are videos that I have in mind. There are videos that I'm working on. I've got 2 videos that I'm working on. One is about tic-tac-toe and functions, kind of talking about programmy concepts without involving really any code. And I'm excited about that. I've kind of gone through and I've rewritten, so I've done a second pass of that video. That's going to take me a little bit to produce, but and then there's another video that I'm working on that's about sort of how we determine meaning and convey specific messages in art and how that all gets messed up. Because I don't know, that's what's on my mind right now. But I figured, I don't know, I feel like turning on the camera and talking today. Maybe this will be a regular thing, maybe it won't. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm making stuff as I fancy. Fancy's a fun word. Yes. But anyway, so yes, I'm just talking about what's going on with me now, so that people don't panic, I guess. I've been doing NaNoWriMo, which either you know about and are probably irritated to have to hear anybody say one more thing about it, or you don't know about it. And the premise is that you try and write 50,000 words of a novel in the month of November, and that's all there is to it. I'm about halfway done. I started off really strong, and then it's been kind of slowing down, which is making me nervous, but we're seeing where it's gonna go. And then Alex and I have been doing the Code Monkey podcast, which is up on iTunes and on the website, and there's an RSS feed, so if you use other podcast stuff, you can check that out. I think we're at the point now where we have about 200 downloads per episode. I have no idea what that actually translates to in terms of listeners, because there's this whole thing where if you start and stop a podcast, depending on what you're using, it may go ahead and download the file again or download a part of the file. I don't know. Figuring this stuff out is weird. But yeah, I'm doing well. I feel like I'm kind of being able to play around with a bunch of different creative outlets. And even though the stuff on YouTube is not getting made at perhaps the pace that I might like or others might like, things are good. I'm also spending a fair amount of time over there on the piano, just playing random stuff, which is crazy because I had this big, long period where just, and this is part of, I guess, what I'm going to talk about in one of these videos, hopefully, is that when you study something kind of formally, you start to really understand the tricks and the techniques behind the thing that you're making, and it becomes very easy to become very jaded with both the instrument or the skill or whatever in general, but particularly your own experience of it. If you are if you're making a painting, the fact that you are the type of person who makes paintings means that you are going to be more sensitive to the color scheme and the brush strokes and all of that stuff, where people with less experience can perhaps look at it in just sort of this subjective, wow, I like that, or I don't like that. So you're always going to see it a little bit differently. And certainly if you're looking at your own work, well, you go, you're not going to look at it the same way. You're going to go, there was that brush stroke that I accidentally made and then I had to try and really cover up. And no one else is ever going to see that, but it adjusts the way that you look at your own work in a particularly harmful way. And for me, the piano was very much like that. I had gotten to the point where it's just like I couldn't play stuff because all I could hear was the mistakes. And yeah, that's a whole topic for another video, I think. But anyway, I'm not quite sure why I decided to make a video at 3 a.m, but I did, and I'm checking in, and I hope that you're doing well. It's hard to believe that we're like halfway through November, isn't it? It has been in the 50s and 60s here in Fahrenheit. I apologize. I don't have a mental model of Celsius in my head. It's supposed to be colder, and it's not. And the New York apartment laws say that they need to keep the heat on overnight. The apartment managers have to kind of force the heat on because if it dips below a certain degree, then they can be in trouble and stuff. But because I've got various electronics and stuff, it ends up kind of getting a little too warm here, which is sometimes aggravating. But no, I'm looking forward to things finally cooling down and coming up on the holiday season, and go home and see family and stuff. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you're doing, and whether I should do these sorts of videos where I just chat at you for no particular reason, or if I really should just stick to, all right, think of an idea, go work on the idea for a while, and if you have something to say, then go ahead and put it up. I don't know, but yeah, have a good morning or evening, or if you see this when it goes up, you might want to think about sleeping pills, or you're not in the United States, in which case I don't know what time it is there. I'm sorry. I feel bad. I don't really feel bad. All right, bye.